Thanks for being here. My name is Manny, and this is Manny Studio, where we make music, talk about music, and whatever else I freaking fill my days with. The music you heard in the intro of this video is an etude I wrote to help myself practice a technique called swybrid picking. It's essentially a cross between hybrid picking and sweep picking and was really popularized by Tosin Abasi. So as a classical guitarist, hybrid picking came somewhat naturally to me, but combining it with sweep picking is where it got really tricky. The really cool thing about this technique, and the main reason why I wanted to learn how to do it, was that you can create these really cool wide intervals at really high speeds that you wouldn't regularly be able to do with just regular sweep picking or economy picking. So I wrote this etude called Cascades, and you could download a free tab of it in the description below. If you decide to try out this piece, then tag me in your posts. I would really love to see you tackle it. As always, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already and turn on notifications for more videos. Here's a few tips that help me get started with this technique. The first tip is to kind of treat it like there's two separate things going on, because there actually is. But you want to separate what you're thinking about when you're using your A and M fingers versus when you're using your pick. If I turn my metronome on at 60 BPM, and you want to kind of think about this in groups of three, 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. Right? So what I want to do is I want to focus on just my open hand fingers before I even think about the sweep picking portion. That's going to be the notes landing on the first of every three notes. And we're going to do the same thing with the sweep picking portion, which is going to be the second and third of the grouping. So it's really important to get that basic technique down. I feel like at first I was just trying to tackle it, practicing it very slowly and just trying to incorporate both parts at once. Because as a classical guitarist, I'm used to having multiple voice pieces. But it didn't really stick with this, and it was only when I started to look at the general mechanics of the technique that it started to come together. Don't forget to download your free tab in the description box below, and check out last week's episode on metronome practice to get some more ideas on getting this music up to speed. Okay, so my second tip for this technique is, again, before incorporating the technique right away with your right hand, try to get the chord shapes down first. Know exactly which chord moves to which chord. A lot of the time, we make mistakes when we're playing because we're too busy thinking about what we have to do next. But if you just eliminate that from the equation and you're really secure in your chord changes, then you kind of just let the music flow and you don't have that anxiety when you play. Kind of related to that second tip, when you're playing these chords, know what your guide fingers are. Sometimes you won't have any notes in common between the two chords, and it's just going to be a difficult chord shift that you're going to have to practice. Other times you'll have a finger on the same string that you need for the next chord, or one finger in one chord to the next that is already placed down. Your second chord here, well, I guess you can't really see it, but your second chord has a B flat with your first finger. That remains for your next. And then from here, your fourth finger is on the second string, which is where you need it to be for this chord. Again, by doing this, you develop a really good knowledge of what your fingers are doing, when they're doing it, and how not to expend useless energy that is just going to make you more tired when you play through your music. I hope these tips help you develop this really cool technique. I've only been messing around with it for a little bit now, and I've already found so many amazing applications. It really ends up changing the timbre of the guitar and opens up a whole new world of possibilities, and I really am excited to see what you come up with.